duty. No,
Just want to say that's the first time that's worked for me.
Well, what were you hitting?
Okay, it's 7.
Is it? Oh, that goes. Let me get.
Yeah, that's way slow. I'm going by.
I forgot. Let me get the recorder.
As I cough into it. Don't transcribe that. You good?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the October meeting of the Gardner Planning Board. First item of business is approval of minutes for the August 9th public hearing for Mass Ave Rentals LLC and our regular meeting on the same night.
Make a motion, we accept the meeting, our last meeting.
Second. Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes for the public hearing and the regular meeting. Any discussion? Okay, by voice vote, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. New business, Private Oversight LLC, petition submitted for an ordinance to amend the code of the city of Gardner. Preliminaries from you, Mr. Bogard, before we invite Ms. Tree to the floor.
Mr. Chairman, just real quick, brief summary. The petitioner has submitted a zoning amendment to the map, a request to the council. The council has since passed it on to the planning board for initial recommendation, which is why it's on the agenda tonight. You may be familiar with this project or the concept as to why they're here. Earlier this year, they went in front of the ZBA for a use variance for a multifamily development in that area on their land off of West Broadway. It was denied, and they came back to the planning board requesting an informal discussion on a potential development under the smart growth plan unit development zoning, which we had a discussion, and I believe after that discussion, they went back to the drawing board, and now they are coming forward with a request for the zoning change from commercial 2 to general residential 3,
Okay.
which is in front of the board tonight for a recommendation back
To the city council, yeah. Okay, and you said multifamily condos, or did I?
I think it's a multifamily development, but I think they can probably give us a little more information once they start presenting.
Agreed. All right, very good. Ms. Tree, welcome. Your name and, for the record, please, introduce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attorney Christine Tree, 515 Main Street in Fitchburg, representing Private Oversight, and Joanne Tavano, the petitioner. Where is appropriate for me to, am I fine to stay here? and make a presentation?
Whatever's comfortable for you.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
We can hear you just fine. So thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I just want to, before we get into this too much, we are proposing a zoning map amendment, which means we're not redrawing any lot lines, but we are changing the district. Our motivation in putting this forward is the project that we would like to do. However, that should not really be taken into consideration by this board as the reason for the change to the zoning. Otherwise, we would be open to a claim of spot zoning. We have given some information about the project to you, and there are some, the conceptual plans are within the materials that you've been given. And I'm happy to talk about them today. We believe that the zoning change that we're proposing is beneficial for everyone in the district, not just because it's beneficial for us. So we are looking to change the zoning at the West Broadway portion of COM2 district between Kendall Pond and the Templeton Mine. It is currently COM2. After some discussion, and I'd like to thank Trevor for the time he's given us, we are looking to change to GR3. And just a quick summary of what we're doing, where we want to do it, and why we want to do it. or really why you should consider making a change. There are parcels, and I'll show you in a little more detail momentarily, which are COM2 and R2, so we have a number of split district parcels. The primary zoning is COM2. We're looking to change to GR3. There are 20 parcels involved, and what we believe this change would do is take a district where every single non-vacant parcel is either non-conforming or only allowed under variance, and make every single parcel conforming. We think that would be for the benefit of the current residents. We think it would protect them from any future inappropriate commercial development. But with the GR3 district, we do think there is some allowance for future business use, but only use that is compatible with the residential uses that are there. So on the right, by the way, this is a graphic of what we're looking to build. All parcels, as I said, are either vacant or residential, but the zoning is commercial, COM2. And in the COM2 district, single-family homes are not an allowed use. Not allowed by special permit, it requires a variance. And therefore, every parcel is non-conforming or built under a variance. Our current zoning therefore presents unnecessary hurdles to single-family homeowners in this district. Every time they want to do an extension of their home, erect a garage on the property, do something that is a substantial enough alteration but still within a single-family home use, they're going to be treating either as a pre-existing non-conforming use that has to be altered through special permit or through review with the building commissioner, or they're going to require a modification of the variance in the case of Deer Hill Park that they have received previously to build a single-family home. It's an unnecessary interference with their rights of single-family home ownership. I don't think that the city benefits from this kind of oversight. I think it's a hurdle that the city really doesn't want to have. And I would say the homeowners don't as well. Strangely, the commercial uses that are not compatible with the existing residential uses are allowed by right. And I have a table, I'll go through some of those later on. But should any one of those commercial uses, like a 15,000 square foot retail store come in, or a restaurant with live entertainment under a special permit, that would be, we would say, detrimental to the existing single-family homeowners. If the project is allowed, that still does not mean, if the BAP amendment is allowed, that does not mean our project is entitled to be approved. The city retains a substantial amount of oversight because a special permit will still be required and site plan review will still be required. So although this does benefit us, we believe the greater benefit is to the city and the residents. This is where the parcels are located, over in that little sharp corner of Templeton. And this is the current zoning. So as you can see, we have the Industrial 2 district in dark purple. We're talking about the COM2 district in pink, and there is the R2 district below it. And if I can make my cursor a pointer, we are looking at changing the zonings for the parcels in this area. I'm going to note to you that PAC is right here in that large parcel. And as we were making this presentation, it occurred to us today, we're not asking to change the zoning for PAC, but should this petition be allowed, there will be a tiny little corner of PAC that remains commercial too. Certainly we don't have any issue, whatever the board wants to do with it. I just wanted to bring that up as, that might be a little T to cross in this process. I'd suggest that PACT would probably benefit from an R2 designation, but that is up to the board. In yellow are the 20 parcels that we have included in this petition. And if I go back one slide and focus a little bit on this area, as you can see, we have a number of parcels that are split between two zoning districts, my clients included. A parcel that's split between two zoning districts, especially COM2 and R2, faces a lot of problems in any development because there are very few uses, and among them are a park or outdoor recreation that are allowed by right in both districts. So that is yet another reason why relooking at the zoning, I think, would benefit the existing owners. So these are the parcels that we're looking to change. All of them are either vacant or single-family homes. And here we have the list of the homeowners together with the current use. As you can see, except for my client's parcels, everything is a single-family home. So it's all residential, which is completely incompatible with the COM2 designation. This was just a close-up of the cross-boundary issue that I had pointed out. This table shows again how each parcel that has been improved is currently treated under zoning. Most of them are pre-existing non-conforming. Deer Hill Park Road was created under variance, use variance. Under the proposed change to GR3, every parcel would be conforming with the exception that for the use that we wish to have, it would require the special permit. So having a conforming single-family home parcel would make any modifications for single-family homeowners much easier to contemplate. It's a simple building permit. Except if it's chickens, which my board deals with frequently, and I'm sure yours does as well. Here is our zoning post-change. If you can see the salmon colored area would now be GR3. As a point of reference, we've taken this change to Kendall Pond right before the veterinary clinic animal hospital that is there. That we have not asked to change. It does not require a change, but would be conforming, I think, as a pre-existing non-conforming use at any rate. So what we're arguing is that the current zoning, because I think it contemplated a development of that part of Gardner that has not happened in line with the design. It's Route 2A. And I can definitely see a past board looking at the zoning and thinking we should have commercial too, because that will encourage commercial development along a main corridor within the city. However, as it has actually developed, it is a residential area. And therefore, the current zoning makes everyone non-conforming, allows by right uses to in the district that are detrimental to the current owners, puts obstacles in front of homeowners, and splits the boundaries on several lots between two incompatible districts. If we look at the uses, and there are 4 columns there, but GR3 is the second one, and COM2 is the last one. And this is from the zoning table, the table of uses. As I said, residential uses are not allowed in COM2, yet it is all we have. By contrast, in GR3, single-family homes are allowed, 2-family dwellings are allowed, and multifamily in 3 and 4 are allowed by special permit. So it is more encouraging to those kind of residential developments that we see actually growing in that area. By contrast, the business uses that are allowed by right in COM 2 include relatively light things like professional offices, but would also be a medical office building, a convenience store, a retail store, a bank, laundry. We go on a restaurant serving food with live entertainment. I cannot emphasize how disruptive that would be to a lot of single-family homes in that area. And again, that is by right. It's by right, so there is no government oversight, municipal oversight to moderate the effect of the use, except possibly, depending on parking, through site plan review. And as we know, site plan review is not designed to prohibit a use that is allowed by right. By contrast, the GR3 uses do allow some business use, but most of them are allowed by special permit. Thus, if there was appropriate development there, this board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, could have oversight to see whether that use could be compatibly fitted in with single-family homes. So because that brings all the parcels into conformity with their current use, does incorporate, I think, the hope that that part of Route 2A might someday be commercially developed by allowing some business development, and eliminates all of those nonconformities. We do believe that this would be an appropriate zoning map amendment for the board to undertake. I have a little bit of material on our proposed project, but I want to emphasize again, this is why we seek the amendment. It is not the reason for the board to allow the amendment. We're projecting that 45 townhouse-style apartments, residential units be developed. And I use both of those words because there's phase 1 and phase 2. During phase 1, that is proposed to be condominium development. The second phase, which is further into the property, is proposed to be apartment dwellings. Ms. Tavano and her son Anthony are here tonight. They are in private oversight, and they're looking at this as a long-term family business. They want to be invested in the area and have the management of this property into the foreseeable future. Ms. Tavano is looking to plan for the next generation. As I said, the construction is in 2 phases as contemplated. We maintain a 50-foot buffer with all surrounding properties in the plans that have been developed. I think there might be a little bit of intrusion, I think on the Templeton side of the 50-foot buffer, but in general, it runs the entire property. This would still require a special permit, it would still require site plan review, and therefore the municipality, Gardner, would have the ability to maintain any oversight necessary to mitigate the use from the surrounding parcels. It also retains the ability to reject the proposal. A special permit is not required to be issued, though we certainly hope it will be. This is beneficial to Gardner because it'll increase the quality of new housing stock. And that could be for young professionals, it could be for very small families, or it could be for elderly Gardner residents who want to stay in Gardner, but do not want or are not able to maintain their residence as exists. And I'd just like to say that Gardner certainly does have a fair amount of apartment housing stock. It is very little condo stock. And most of the apartment stock lies in the center, which is a more urban setting than many elderly Gardner residents are used to having or that they find desirable. This would give them an option to stay in Gardner, but still have, in a more suburban setting, a home that does not require the maintenance they're not able to give it anymore. In addition, I'm just gonna say that these parcels, there are 3 of them, and the approximate acreage is
In total, 19.
19 acres. They have not been able to be developed for a long time. The 2 back parcels didn't have any frontage. They're now united with a parcel that has frontage. But the fact that they are split across 2 zoning districts that oppose each other has prevented development. We also have a corner that is in Templeton that has presented issues that we think are resolvable. That is not this board's issue unless it believes it can annex property from Templeton, in which case I encourage you to do so. But this would substantially cut down on the issues with developing these parcels of land. And because that would increase the housing stock, it would increase the valuation for tax purposes. I had my client estimate what the annual taxes would be.
It's all changed, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but it,
You know, the market has changed quite a bit in the last couple of
It
months. so
has.
we'll have to see.
it has, I wanna say that it was somewhere in the $400,000 range. Again, that is not a reason to allow this map amendment, but because your ordinance does request information on the project, I am offering it. This is the visual of the project, and so you can see, this is the first parcel, this is the second, and then this is the beginning of the third in the back. The first phase would reach to about here, and then the second phase would do the back development. At this point in time, although there's a substantial, I think it's 10 acres in the back parcel that you don't see all of, there are topographical reasons. We don't expect that that's going to be developed because the cost is substantial. And this was submitted to you as well, which is a more detailed map containing topography and showing more details about the buildings. As I said, this is the visual of what we expect the constructed units to look like. They're gonna have a single car garage, and then a parking space in front. They vary between 2 and 3 bedrooms. We believe that they're really nice units. And we'd like to see this project go up not only for ourselves, but for Gardner. Regardless of whether that gets allowed, we do believe the zoning map amendment is to the benefit of the owners of these parcels as well as ourselves. It's the policy both under zoning and at the municipal level and under zoning at the state level to eliminate nonconformities. This is a way to recognize that the owners have already undertaken the most appropriate use of the land, which is residential use, and eliminate the nonconformities which are not serving any good purpose for the city. I'm happy to take any questions. The Tavanos are here as well if you have questions, but thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Now, just to make sure I'm clear, in the area that you would like to see changed to GR3, there are no existing commercial operations there right now. Is that
No,
correct?
there are none.
Okay. Questions from the board members?
There was one parcel that was down as a real estate office beyond the veterinary and hospital, if he was down 1 or 2. Apparently that must be all gone at this time. Are you aware of that, Joe?
No.
Bob, are you aware of that?
What was your question?
There was a real estate office that was in one of those properties, like,
In one of the houses, or?
one of the houses, yeah. They had actually put an addition on there.
Oh,
for-
that's, I don't know if that's there or not. I think that the owner sold a while back.
He did? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only other,
I think that's kind of in-home use though.
Yeah, it'd be in-home business, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
okay. That's the only thing I had.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tree.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's in front of us is not the development itself, that's down the road, which I'm sure is very clear to you. We're voting on whether to advise the city council to consider or not consider the applicant's requested zoning change for the areas that Ms. Tree described for us, and also to request a joint public hearing with the city council to go over this proposal.
Are we voting on this now or at 7:30, or?
We're not in a public hearing, this is a regular meeting.
Oh, okay, my apologies.
No, not at all. Yeah, we can vote on it when we feel like it.
Well, I recommend we make a zoning change from commercial 2 to GR3.
Questions, comments?
No, I have a second. I think the presentation tonight was very clear, and I think it's gonna help the people in that area as well as the future, by far.
Okay, before I go charging down the tracks, did you have anything further for us, Mr. Hograt?
Just the motion to recommend to the city council
That's-
to move
that's
forward with the
That's
zoning
correct.
amendment.
Yep.
And to also hold a joint public
Joint public
hearing.
meeting.
Okay, so that's full motion.
Yes.
Made and seconded by voice vote, since there's only the three of us. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes, sir.
real quick. So, to the proponent, I know it's not required under the zoning act, but
Yes.
it may be a good idea to reach out to the other property owners prior to the public hearing, to let them know that there will be a public hearing, and maybe sending them out notices, just to let them know, so they're aware. Only to be fair, if we're changing, the zoning to their land, they should know and be able to speak to that if.
We'd be happy to do that. Would you like copies of the letters that we send out filed with the board?
Yeah, great.
Okay, thank you.
Obviously, once we figure out when that date's gonna be for the joint public hearing and all that. Great, thanks.
All right, good. No old business, unless you have any items, new business announcement, no new business, we already did that, my apologies. Announcements, news, Worcester Business Journal article about the Hayward Hospital expansion is in your packet. FYI. And our next meeting, Tuesday, November 8th, at 7 PM. Sound good? I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.